Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to Sigi Air. Here we are. This is my second attempt at playing the sim. I was able to get in and fly about 5 to 10 minutes or so, but there were so many issues with it that I quit, and then I realized, oh my god, to try to get back in was a total mess. So it's been a couple of days since I've been able to get in, and I was able to get in at late at night, and I was happy, but I was tired and didn't want to play anyway, so I was just trying to make sure that there was nothing wrong with my system. But anyway, here we are. This is the second time, and hopefully we can get in. And I've been hearing that some people are in the US are able to do so. A lot of issues in the UK and in Europe, but in the US it's been better. So I'm on the East Coast, and let's see how this one goes, and hopefully we're able to do something here to try to get this, try to enjoy, this game, and you pay for it, and I'll get back to that, paying for it, and some of the not so nice things that Microsoft did to me when I tried to request a refund. Why did I try to get a refund? Because I couldn't play for 2 days. So I said to myself, well, maybe I'll just get a refund, continue to enjoy 2020, wait a couple of months or so, and then try to see if I can, get it and play with it when things normalize. But anyway, so I decided, and I sent an email to, requested a refund from the Microsoft Store, and they denied it. Why? Why did they deny this after, just a couple of days after the launch? Well, because I pre-bought the sim. And then when I requested the refund, the 14 days had passed. Bad for me, because I decided to buy it, and get into thinking that I would get into the queue and get the download right away and be able to do that. And then so I pre-bought it, and I get punished for that, because when I said to myself, I don't want to play this, I'm gonna wait, I want my money back, they said no. I think that's pretty scummy, and I'm gonna use that strong word. I think that's pretty scummy, because I only started the sim launch on the 19th, so you didn't get the product until the 19th. You couldn't make a decision as to whether or not you would keep the product or request a refund. That's not a good look for Microsoft. I'm sorry. That's and I'm starting here with a little bit of anger around that. But all right, let's put that away. Let's put that aside and see what we can do here. Let's see what the good things, the bad things, and the really ugly things. So there's some. I mean, the sim looks good. I mean, we have seen this before. We've seen, how it looks, when you fly around, the details on it, and yes, that looks good. However, I am concerned about this whole streaming thing, and really, the sim really depends on not only that you have a good internet connection on your side, but that the servers produce or are able to stream at the speed needed for you to have a good experience. So people at some point in anywhere in the world, there's going to be a bunch of people that are going to experience bad performance, because I don't think that, especially given the history here and what happened, I don't think that they're going to be able to do 100% complete good streaming of the sim throughout the world. If there are issues with the bandwidth, you're gonna suffer. And in some instances, when you, for example, when you in 2020, there are times where you're landing on an airport or whatever, and then you get really bad performance because the sim has to pull that information for that airport. Now that's going to be, from my experience, and I'm guessing here, and I think it's gonna be a pretty good guess, that's gonna be a lot worse when you have to stream. That's gonna be a lot worse when you're streaming this sim and you're landing on an airport, and then all of a sudden the sim wants to pull information and the servers are not there and not able to keep up. So that's gonna be frustrating. I don't know if they're gonna be able to manage that. I'm just not very hopeful at this point based on the history right now. So all right, so let's take a look at some of the things that are in addition to this whole mess with the streaming. What else is in the sim that is really frustrating, and perhaps that they can go ahead and make some changes and focus on, so at least they are you have a better experience. All right, so we got in and we start with this customization of your character here, which is really something that I don't care for. I don't care about seeing myself in the sim. It does, I care about seeing things outside. I care about seeing good things in the plane. I care about seeing the instruments clearly. All right, so they identified me from my account, and so I'm gonna continue here. And all right, so here we are. The marketplace is not available, it's my understanding here, so let's do a free flight here, and let's select a airport, which I'm going straight into my home airport here in Laconia, New Hampshire. Get my usual parking spot here on number 21, set as departure. And okay, so this is nice. You got the weather there that shows you a little dashboard of the weather, and I want to be able to do live weather here rather than preset. And okay, fine. And let's start our flight. Alright, so it does take a little bit of time here to get into the plane and the parking spot here. Alright, so right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, I don't like this part here. So you click on ready to fly, you got your airplane, you're ready to fly, and you're outside the aircraft. And the first time, this took me a while to more time than I really cared for, and it was I can show you here that I'm trying to figure out how to get into the freaking cockpit, and I suppose this is just Microsoft saying, well, you get in there and you start doing your walk around and you do these things. You remove the covers, you remove the shocks, you do whatever, and that's what you're supposed to do. But that's not really what you do when you're starting a flight. You get into your cockpit and you turn on your lights, your nav lights and all that, and then you do the walk around, make sure that your lights are working and you know all of that. I think this is really unnecessary, and I wish they have a way of an option that you can click in here and just skip the whole thing. So it was really frustrating, and I kept going back and forth here like I'm showing you right now. What the hell, how am I supposed to getting to the plane? Okay, how am I supposed to navigate around here? And I guess the new keyboard bindings are give you a sense of what you need to do. So and then they give you this instructions here, but they don't give you the instructions to use the correct key binds to get into the plane. Where do you find that? So I went back and forth on this, and it just took me a while. And it's a Shift C, but nowhere in the instructions here, nowhere when you get into the walk around, it doesn't show you say Shift C to get into the plane. I suppose that I'm sorry, you are also able to, if you find the door handle, you can click on the door handle to get in, but it took me a while to figure that out. I'm just showing you the frustrating things that I had to do to try to figure this out. So I'll just skip that for now, and I'm going to show you the next thing, which is I think is really bad too, is this whole control layout. How you bind your keyboard, your mouse, your controllers. This is very different from 2020, and also very frustrating because it doesn't really make any sense. It feels to me that Microsoft hired a UI designer that really had no idea, never flown Microsoft Flight Simulator, or it just came from somewhere else, and they said, well, just do a UI design for people to be able to set up their controls. And he just went around and never looked at 2020, which had nothing wrong with it. The way you do your controls in 2020, it's very straightforward, easy to learn by yourself without really instruct. You're able to figure it out right off the bat. Not here. And what is this? Control E is about engine not started, and the co-pilot is giving you some information, but it's not giving you the right information how to get into the freaking aircraft. So, and by the way, where's my tail number? I put in Siggy Air, and it's not even there. Anyway, all right, so let's get into a little bit of the control setup here, and I'll show you, because I was able to do some stuff, and after many hours of frustrating sitting here and going back and forth, I'm not going to show you all that, but I'll show you the end result here. So just FYI, after so many hours trying to figure this out, I'm probably exaggerating. It wasn't probably hours, maybe it was just about 45 minutes or so. I decided that I was just going to start my flight from the runway, and so that worked. I'm in the plane, and I'm here trying to figure out. I realize now that I have to set up my controls because nothing really is working like I expected. You know, my joystick is not working like it did in 2020, and here I am trying to use the mouse and to set up the the throttle, and here we go on my first flight. And I'll show you the end result of this flight because I realized that I picked a really windy day to do this, and I didn't have my controls set up correctly, and it was not a good experience. So here I am trying to figure out in my key bindings, my key bindings that where I control the flaps, and I couldn't figure them out, so I'm using the mouse to do that. On the good side, I have to say that the sim really looks, the graphics, they look really well. I have to say that the graphics look really good. I started here with the recommended for my system. I have an i7 and with a NVIDIA GTX 47. So the recommendation from them is that I use high settings. So I'm using everything on high and see how it goes. So it looks okay. It looks like the performance is good on this first flight, and but I'm struggling because my joystick is really not working well, and let me show you what I had to do to correct this. Alright, so going into general settings here, and I'm gonna I selected the controls, so everything seems like it's consolidated, so you have to open the menus to see the rest of the stuff. So going into the controls, and here is the second bad and frustrating part of this. I started with the sensitivities because I thought, okay, maybe I'll just an issue is my sensitivities here, and that's why I'm really having a hard time controlling the plane. So this is not unusual. You have to set up, if you're gonna change the default bindings, you have to create a new one, and then I did the sensitivities here. Alright, so I went back, I go back, and the sensitivity got me, so the sensitivity changes made some improvement here, but I really had to try to make sure that I had the correct binding. So what I did end up doing is to looking into the controls, and I was baffled about what I found, and baffled and frustrated. So alright, so here we are in the controls, and as you can see, if you go down, you have to select your device here, and I'm selecting my for this particular one, I'm selecting my Velocity 1 yoke. So now I'm navigating through this web of settings and all of that, and I can't see what's in there very clearly. So if I'm looking at decrease flat, I don't know which binding is that. It just says 4, but that's not really the button for that's that only means that there are 4 conflicts for that particular binding, as I found out later. And then I realized that I have to go down to their general controls. They are airplane controls, and there's some airplane specific controls, and I couldn't figure out what the difference was until later on. General controls are things that are like camera, if you want to take pictures or views and things like that. Those are general controls. Airplane controls are like your flight control surfaces and things like that. So I ended up just duplicating the one that comes in, the default one, and because I wanted to just go ahead and try to see if I could just make modifications here to the ones that are already in here, and that would probably be better than just, you know, starting from scratch. I don't know which one is really better, but I'll leave it up to you, you know, however you want. You know, you can start from scratch, or you can start from what's already in there. I think it's equally frustrating. So the thing is that, first of all, the UI is just terrible. It's navigating through it is just, you know, very confusing, and you can't see exactly everything within the view, and you just have to try to figure this out. So horrible controls, binding settings, and you really have to spend some time trying to figure out how it really works, and what is the logic behind it. And it's just like you spend the last 3 or 4 days trying to do that and not enjoying things, and you want to, you know, especially when they tell you, no, you can't get a refund, you're just gonna have to bear with it. You're gonna have to suffer through it, and if you wanted to, you know, get any value out of it. So again, just a mess of it. But I was able at some point to manage to get some of the controls set up, and then do I did some flying here. So let me show you. So that's a real negative. That's a bad. All right, so on the flight conditions, the weather, live weather, the presets, that's pretty straightforward. There's not much difference from 2020 to 2024. So glad that I was not frustrated with it or had to spend too much time figuring this out, because it's just basically the same. So here I'm trying to set up my departure on the default TBM 930, and again spending a lot of time with the default control settings for the Turtle Beach yoke and quadrant, and yeah. So the other thing, so I'm in LA, and again, the streaming issue is gonna be a problem in the future. Your performance, regardless, I'm actually in Burbank, your performance regardless of the system that you have, you can have a beefy system, you know, with 4090 or whatever, but if the streaming is not there, if there's an issue with your connection, or if there's an issue with the servers downloading, you're gonna get this type of jerky performance. again, it comes in at the, comes and goes, and it's really not predictable. When you can get a bad performance, you can just be flying around and you think you're okay. All of a sudden you start, lagging and stuttering, and then it's the usual, when you're trying to land and you think you're doing a great job landing, it stutters all over the place and you do a terrible landing. And so all right, the other thing here is the ATC, the communications ATC, and there's really not an improvement on this. It's just as terrible as it was before. I expected at least they would improve on ATC and communications. It's basically the same menu, and it doesn't give you any better performance than it did before. And if you use something like Beyond ATC or FS HUD, you're probably going to be using those instead of this ATC default ATC service. So here you are. Here I'm taking off from Burbank in California. Again, very laggy. Very stuttering, even though it looks good. Look at that nice sunset, but again, the performance is not there. It's really hard to control the plane, and what can I say? That not a good experience. All right, let me go back to the controls here. I'm in the TBM, and again, one of the things that I discovered is that they have the 2020 keyboard, and I don't know what transversal keyboard is, but if you select that keyboard, then at least you are able to do something because you remember some of the keybinds that you set up or were set up as default from the 2020. So but yet again, you have to go back. If you're trying to get into the plane, either you click on the door handle to get in, or you just have to keybind that Control C into your new keyboard. And frankly, I was not able to do it, and I keep going back to the 2024 one to be able to do that Control C. I did that for a while until I figure out that I'll just do, I'll just click on the door handle from now on to just get in the plane and keep my 2020 keyboard, because I have it. I know about it. I know what to press to do do stuff around inside the plane. So there are plenty of videos and people are coming up with in terms of how to set this up on the keybinds, and I'm not gonna do it because I just feel that I would just have an anxiety attack trying to tell you, and probably won't do a good job in giving you information about this. It's just really they need to re-examine this and redo it and do an update and make it better. However, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that, because they're this is so involved here that redesigning this so to address all of these issues is just going to take a lot of time and effort from their part, and I don't think they care. I mean, they didn't care about giving me a refund. You think they're going to care about redesigning this so people are less frustrated with it? I don't think so. So on the third day, I was able to figure out how to get my 2020 planes into the sim. I thought there would be like a black square would come up with a installer or whatever for 2024 now. They may do that, but right now what's what I did was just to copy my 2020 community folder, black square folder into 2024, put it in there, and it showed up, and I was able to put it in there and set it up. Although there's still some issues with it, and the sim to me kind of behaves a little bit strange, and I can't figure out whether it's just because it's the sim that still has this very buggy, or because I'm adding this plane from 2020 that it's really hasn't been optimized to 2024. So when I added in the plane, there was some scenery that was kind of like fuzzy. Some of the things didn't work right off the bat. The tail number didn't work when I set it up. And again, I had to redo all my bindings, and by now, after spending 6 or 7 hours, a little bit of exaggeration there, but after spending quite a bit of time setting up the bindings, I was able to get something going here with the TBM, and it just feels that it feels that there's something missing. So the GTN, I had to copy the file too for the GTN 750, and that worked. Again, not completely perfectly. Again, it didn't work 100%, but I managed to get it there and going, and get a flight plan in there from SimBrief, and there's a way that you can do a flight planning from inside the sim using the EFB. Now, I'll show you the EFB, because actually it's not bad. It still has some issues, but it has a lot of potential. So you are able to do some flight planning within the sim using the EFB here. Right, so you are able to do some flight planning within the sim using the provided EFB, and you're able to load a flight plan from SimBrief into the sim, into the EFB, and then you're able to send the flight plan into the avionics of the plane, or you can just send it to the sim itself. So if you want to use the default ATC, that you're able to do that. So I think that this it's good. It has potential. There's some issues with the user interface that could be better, but I think that's a good improvement here. There's a additional functionality here for your flights here that it's good. I like it. Again, it's not totally perfect, but it has potential here to be able to be a good add-on here within the sim without having to use like a SimBrief planner, or what's the new one that SimBrief has, the the SimBrief planner. So you don't have to you bring in I think it's better if you can do stuff within the sim rather than loading the sim with add-ons here, because that creates other performance issues here. So this is good. I was also able to load up a freeware scenery and payware scenery from different couple of places. I was able to do this airport in San Juan, Puerto Rico from flightsim.to, and it loaded up okay and it looks good. So that works fine. There are a couple of other airports that had some issues with the textures, and they kind of look fuzzy, but I'm not sure whether that's the issue with the scenery itself, or again an issue with the sim at the time that I was doing it, because it does that once in a while when you're doing a flight, and all of a sudden you see this fussiness that's where it doesn't look sharp or what's going on. And again, that is a streaming issue. So again, I'm not convinced that the streaming it's gonna be the answer for it. I wish they gave us the opportunity to preload scenery, or even the airplanes, the A330 from Builds and all those big airliners. They're streamed, and I had some performance issues with it. So again, let's see how it goes. All right, so let's wrap it up, and let me show you. I was able to complete this flight.
00, runway 10, right, so cleared for takeoff.
Here I am.
Fly heading 100, runway 10, cleared for takeoff. Airbus 1123.
I'm going to take off, and I'm going to, let you watch the end of the video with the flight into Princess Juliana. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for listening to my rant about this. Again, I'm really disappointed that Microsoft did not honor a request for a refund, because I would have bought it again at some point when it was, in the future, when it was when all these issues have been corrected. But I wanted to, even if I said to myself, I'm happy with 2020, don't want to do 2024, and I want my money back because it's not what I expected. Why would I be punished by Microsoft for pre-ordering the product, and then after it launched finding out that it really had so many issues that I wanted my money back, but I couldn't because I pre-bought it and the time had expired. And I think it should be from the time that you actually get the product rather than the time you pre-order.
Airbus 1123,
they didn't
reset
charge my credit
transponder.
card until a day or so
6005.
before they launched.
6005 in the box.
Why are
Airbus
they
1123.
The date where I pre-order as the date for the start
Airbus
date
1123, contact San Juan departure 120.9er.
That. All right, thank you, my friends, for listening to my rant.
Contact
and,
San Juan departure 120.9er, Airbus 1123. San Juan, Airbus 1123. Good evening, 1700.
Airbus 1123, San Juan departure, radar contact, climb maintain 2000 feet, altimeter 299er0.
Climb maintain 2000 feet, altimeter 299er0, Airbus 1123.
Airbus 1123, cleared direct to Sulla. Resume own navigation.
Cleared direct Isla. Resume own navigation, Airbus 1123.
Descend and maintain flight level 290, United 1707. San Juan Center, generic November 8, Tree 7, Quebec, Sierra 700 feet.
Generic November 8 Tree 7 Quebec Sierra San Juan Center QNH 101 Tree continue as planned. Generic 7 Quebec Sierra traffic is 8 o'clock tree miles at 500 feet generic. Report them in sight.
Climb and maintain 2,000 feet FlexJet 476.
FlexJet 476 traffic is 4 o'clock tree miles at 1,600 feet generic. Report them in sight. FlexJet 476 climb and maintain 5,000 feet.
Airbus 1123. Contact Juliana Tower 118.7. Bye-bye.
Contact Tower 118.7, Airbus 1123. Juliana Tower, Airbus 1123, RNAV runway 10.
904 taxi to and hold short of runway 10.
Airbus 1123, Juliana Tower, wind 130 at 4, runway 10 cleared to land.
Runway 10 cleared to land, Airbus 1123.
Taxi to and hold short runway 10, using taxiway Alpha American 2094. American 2, 4, hold position, caution, other traffic. Hold position, American 2, 4. Windward 654, contact ground on 118.7.